Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to remove the ceramic filter and ceramic filter housing, and once we get that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get our pliers and pull off a little red clip off the bottom of the pump, and the same thing at the ceramic filter housing, and then we're going to depress the dark gray ring and pull out the tube from the pump assembly. Once that's done, we're going to reach in and we're going to pull out the wires for the pump, disconnect those two wires, and we're going to move this wire out of the way so it's not going to be in our way while we're working on the pump. Then we're going to disconnect the two blade connectors connecting the pump to the switch on the front of the unit. Sometimes you have to pull a little hard. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and rotate the unit on its side. That way we can get access to this set of screws and nuts to remove the reactor. Notice that the bottom portion of the reactor has already been removed, and it's out of the way along with the bulb. We're using a adjustable crescent wrench included in the kit, along with the right-handed Phillips head screwdriver. So we're going to undo both screws, the top and bottom, and you can see them jiggling around so they're nice and loose. We're going to do the same thing at the top also. Once both of them are loose, then we should be able to slide that reactor up and forward and grab our pliers to remove the red clip that holds that ring from depressing and keeps the tube in. Once we pull that out, we can depress the dark gray ring and remove the tubing and set the reactor to one side. So then we're going to take the unit and we're going to flip it up on its right face again, and we're going to undo these two screws and nuts. You can use a regular screwdriver with this, but I'm going to use the right-handed screwdriver included in the kit. So we're going to unscrew the two screws completely. We want to get the nut and screws completely off. Here I've just basically loosened them so that we can undo them by hand. We're going to take them off. And now there's a black washer underneath each nut along with the foot. So we're going to take the nuts off, and we're going to go ahead and push the screw back through the hole. Pull the screw out. You can see it's just a standard Phillips screwdriver along with that black washer. Same thing on the bottom. Okay, and just set those aside so we don't lose them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of move the pump a little bit sideways, and it should just slide right out. So we're going to have that and set it aside. Now we're going to move everything so now we can just work on the pump itself. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this little cover with the Phillips head screwdriver. That's just a cover for these wires. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start unscrewing the pump itself from the motor. So the square portion of this pump is the actual pump itself, while the round portion is the electric motor that runs that pump. So we're going to get those done, and we're going to go ahead and pull this fitting off by pulling off that same red clip. We use the pliers to kind of push in on the ring, and you can see it sliding off. Pops right off. We're going to get that out of the way. So now we're going to go ahead and disconnect this side screw from the pump and pump motor itself. The reason why we're keeping the wires together is so we keep the pump kind of still together, and then we'll remove the wires at the very last. Disconnect those two, pop them loose, and we should be able to just pull the pump apart from the motor. So we'll set aside the motor, and now we're going to work on the pump. We're going to take out these screws, get them out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to start taking the pump apart by removing the screws on one side at a time. Don't do both sides at a time. Do one side. Undo those screws, most likely in a star pattern. Remove that. Cover comes right off. Be careful not to lose the spring underneath. That is very critical. We need to set the spring aside, and it has to stay separate from other springs we find. So and then there's the a plug. We're going to use the pliers to just kind of pry it up a little bit, gently. Don't mar anything. Pull the whole thing up. put that ring aside with that side of parts. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other side of part of this pump. We're going to set it aside. We want to make sure that the springs are separate because they are different sizes and also have different pressures. So we want to make sure we put this pump back together properly. We'll go ahead and take out the plug and the ring and inspect inside the pump housing. Now inside, you can look inside and see that there's just water, and if there's any debris in there, we need to clean that out. Okay, now we're going to look down inside the inlet and outlet. We're going to do the same thing in there too. If we see any debris, we're going to try to remove it. And what we'll do is we're going to do one side at a time. So it's the same procedure for the other side. If you see debris on the other side and you can't get to it from this side, reassemble this side and go to the other side and do the same thing that you see here. Take apart that other side of the pump. Now we're going to drop in that ring, and we're going to drop in the spring. Now this plug goes in a specific way. You can see that the cross portion goes into the ring first. Now we're going to set that back down, make sure that the spring goes onto the nub so that it functions properly. Now we're going to take a little screw, we're going to push down on it to make sure that it has the correct spring motion. See how it bounces? It works great when it's bouncing because it's now letting water in and out. So now I'm going to kind of squish down on the plastic. That's like a rubberized plastic. And then we're going to insert this other ring along with the same thing. Cross goes into the ring, and then the spring goes onto the round nub. And then we're going to take the cover and we're going to put it back on, making sure that the O-ring seals against that plastic portion that we had pulled back earlier. I'm going to set it right down on top of it, and using a star pattern, we're going to do it quickly, star pattern, reassemble the screws, or screw in the screws. Now here's where we would flip it over and do the other side if we needed. In this case, everything looked clean. We're going to put it back together. Notice that the connectors are facing towards the feet, so we can't flip it over. We want to have it that direction. It may not even be able to be assembled the other way, but we're going to it's a good thing to look for. We're going to put these two screws in, one on either side, which now brings the pump and the motor back together. Very simply. It's not hard to do. Now we're gonna take and we're gonna connect one wire. It doesn't matter which way they go. There is no polarity on this pump. I'm gonna grab this clip. It's easier to put the clip on here and then slide it on. It won't hurt anything. It'll just slide right on. Just push firmly but gently, so it goes and seats itself. So now we're going to take the other wire. I grabbed the wrong side in this case, but we want to put the gold side on this. If we don't do it with the gold side, the cover won't close around this adjustment screw and wires. So we want to make sure we put the gold side in, and then we're going to take a screwdriver and we're going to screw this in. No problem. We can use, like I said before, you can use a regular screwdriver if you have one available. I'm putting a cover on this just so we don't get any dirt in it in case I drop it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and reinstall the pump. We're going to take the pump and we're going to put those 2 feet into those 2 square holes, but make sure to put that wire underneath the pump, so where the pump feet are. So we're going to have it between the 2 feet and the metal, and then we're going to take that other wire and run it underneath the feet just the same way. Okay, and then we're going to take and we're going to get those Phillips screwdrivers, and we're going to basically reassemble it the same way we took it apart. So first we're going to put those 2 Phillips head screwdriver screws through those 2 holes and then through into the feet, as you can see here. And then we're going to put the black washer on top. We're going to just use a finger tight method on this for right now. We'll tighten it afterward. Same thing with the bottom screw and the bottom washer. And then we're going to put the nut on top of that. Alright, then we're going to take our crescent wrench and our 90-degree screwdriver, and we're going to screw those two nice and tight. Doesn't have to be squished, just so that they're firm and that the nylon on the nuts lock the screw in place so it's not easy to come off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure that the wire is loose. It's not crimped or crushed in any way for the bulb. Now, and then we're going to grab the other two wires that we have here, and we're going to go ahead and adjust that, get that in the right direction. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug these in. Now these are non-polarity either, so we can put them in either direction. It doesn't matter. It works just fine. So even if I put this on the top plug, it will work no problem. So we're going to go ahead and connect these two. And then we're going to grab that wire, we're going to refeed it underneath that blue wire, blue tube, connect it, just connect it the only way it will go together, even if the wires don't quite match. And then we're going to stuff it kind of behind the feet, in between the pump itself and the wall. So then we're going to grab the red tube and we're going to insert it into the two fittings, pressing firmly so that they seat properly. You'll feel them kind of seat and then stop. And then we're going to put the red clips on. You just pull on the tube just a little bit. If the tube comes out, you didn't push hard enough to seat the tube. If it doesn't, then you should be able to pull on the tube, and the ring will kind of come up a little bit, and you can slip the clip up underneath the gray ring, as you see here. If it's sticking out at all, then it's not properly installed, and it may come off. So now we're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to get ready to install the reactor. Do the same thing that you did earlier with the red tube. Plug that in, and we're going to go ahead and install the red clip just the same way we did on the other side. And then we're going to rotate the chassis sideways. Make sure that these two screws and washers are as far out as possible, because what we're going to do is we're going to slide that reactor up against the wall and slide it down and around, as you see here. We want to make sure that both the washers are in the correct position. We don't want them to be canted in any way, so that they are making a positive flat connection on the plastic of the reactor. And now we're going to go ahead and tighten down both screws. You can see that the screw is sticking out of the nut a little bit. That should keep them nice and tight. And then we're going to go ahead and install the ceramic filter and the ceramic filter housing, just as you would with any other unit. And we'll go ahead and reassemble the rest of the unit the way you disassembled it previously.